We dedicate this season to friend of the pod, Christian Salisbury. A life and talent taken from the herd way too early. He will be remembered for his speed and agility, but most of all his smile and infectious enthusiasm. If you're able, go to the link in the description and donate to the Christian Salisbury Memorial Fund and help more kids like Christian find their way to professional football. Carry that rock in peace, my friend. You will be missed.
Care who it is, this is a brotherhood, and if we stand strong together, we can't be denied. If one of us goes down, we have another, and another, and another that's ready to fight. So let's hit this field and bang them, bang them, bang them. Somebody light me up.
It's time to huddle up. It's the Turf District Podcast. Turn my mic on so you guys can actually hear what I'm saying. Let's try that again. Oh my, it's off to a great start. Welcome back to the Turf District, everybody, where we huddle up to talk everything about the Edmonton Elks and the CFL. We're a proud member of the CFPN, which you saw earlier, and thanks for joining us live on YouTube. And if you've downloaded the pod, thank you for downloading. And make sure that you share and make sure you subscribe, all those things. Let all your fans know so that we can get everybody into the show. We have an amazing show for you this evening. Before we get started, we just want to send out our thoughts to everyone that was evacuated, both between Northwest Territories and BC. And we know some of those people will be at the game on Sunday. We glad you're being able to have a chance to escape a little bit. To a game, and we hope that everything is good for all the things that you need to deal with, but we're thinking about you. Let's first bring in my co-host for the evening, because Mike is on the one show list. Is that what we're going to call
it? Yeah. He's injured.
Commissioner Kayla, how are you?
Well, this pre-show was excellent, so I'm excited for the main stuff.
Yes, me too. It's going to be amazing. And how was the rest of your week after, a win?
Oh my gosh, I just got to breathe. It was just like, for once, I don't care what happens for the rest of the week because we got to win. Like, wow, I'm just so relaxed.
I was immediately excited that we're going to get to have this conversation. So that's great,
right? Where are the doves? Release the doves. It is like a celebration. No, we'll do that on Sunday. Sorry,
Sunday.
Yeah, Champagne bubbles on Sunday.
That's right. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in our guests, shall we? All right, we at the game this weekend, we're going to be celebrating the 2003 Grey Cup team. Of course, one of the players from that team is going up on the EE Wall of Honor. We decided to celebrate a little bit early and bring in some alumni from that team. Let's bring them in. On our left on your screen is one Singor Mobley. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing wonderful. Thank you for joining us. Then in the middle, you'll see the man of the hour going up on the Wall of Honor. First time on the podcast, Terry Vaughn. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And on the right-hand side is our good friend of the show as well, Mr. Rick Walters. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm not sure how I follow Terry's introduction. So.
You do it just like that. You gotta throw a little humor in, and we're ready to go. So now there's going to be quite the group of you guys together here this coming weekend. Tell us a little bit about what does it mean to all of you to be kind of back together with some of these guys celebrating that cup win from 20 years ago. And Terry, let's start with you.
Well, actually, I didn't find out about the Grey Cup, that we were celebrating the Grey Cup, until Singor told me probably about a week ago. He texted it to me, and that's when I actually found out. I was unaware.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they really just made mention of the wall, going up on the wall, and I had no idea they were celebrating the 2003 win.
Oh, that's okay. Well, it'll be cool to get all these guys back together again. So,
Oh, no doubt, definitely.
well, tell us then what's it like going up on the wall?
I don't know. Hasn't happened yet.
That's fair. That's fair.
Honestly, it wasn't. It really was out of the blue. Wasn't expected, and now that I understand that that's happening, that's kind of cool. Kind of cool. I've never really thought of myself in that way, but yeah, it's pretty nice recognition.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, you were a great player. So that's important. Let's go back to the being all together. Rick, how do you feel about getting everybody together?
You know what? It's one of those opportunities. It's funny because even though we're separated by distance, it really seems like yesterday when you get back in a room, whether it's on this podcast or get back together down in Commonwealth or wherever, the camaraderie that over those few years that we all had together, just it feels like they really were your brothers. You grew so much together, and so it's kind of like a brotherhood that you don't realize how much time has passed, and you reconnect on old stories, old times, and you laugh at the jokes that you told whatever 10, 15, 20 years ago. And it's great to see the guys. It really is, because you did so much together. You spent so much time together that it's always unfortunate. I think as you get a little bit older, sometimes you only see people at funerals, it seems like, and people you really, really care about and spent a lot of time together. And especially through COVID, you always think that we should find a way to connect more often, and sometimes you never do. So it's great that the club and the team are organizing something like this and bringing everybody together to spend some time with people you really, really care about.
Fantastic. And what about you, Stingor?
Oh, it's great. We say brother. 2002, we went through some stuff. We got in. Then we came back 2003, and everyone had a different mindset. But the one thing in 2003 that everyone forgets about was that blackout in Toronto. That's what I think really brought us together as a team, as a whole, or as brothers, as guys that really cared about each other, because we had to do something that no team really had to experience. We had to get along with each other. There wasn't, go to practice, go home, and do your thing. We're stuck in a hotel for a few days, and you talk to guys that you didn't normally talk to. That brought us together. You actually found out what that person likes. So 2003 was a special year, and it's great for us all to come back and see each other and see Terry go up on the wall. had to play against them several times in my football career when he was at U of A.
Yeah.
And then when he was in Calgary, I mean, you know, when you're averaging 1,000 yards receiving every year of your professional career, you know, that there's no other place to go is on a wall and, you know, Hall of Fame.
Amazing.
That's incredible. And gents, I just need you to go back in time and think about some of these jokes. And you can tell us, I'll give you some time to tell us, but I really want to know some of these jokes and stories. So keep that in the back of your head while we go forward. But like you kind of spoke on 2002, but I want to talk about the 2003 team just a little bit. Rick, we'll start with you. What was it like just being with that core group of guys and that core that receiving core, and just tell us a little bit behind the scenes of how you guys bonded and came together to bounce back in 2003.
You know, we really came together based on the 2002 season because the way that we lost that game, there really was coming back into the 2003 year a big sense of urgency within everybody that if we were going to lose, we were going to lose without giving it our best game. And so everybody practiced like that. Everybody came to work like that with a new kind of sense of urgency about what they wanted their career and the rest of their especially that year to kind of look like. So it's funny because when they talk about great teams, I'd put that one up there with anybody. I really would, because we had players everywhere. I know we lost a couple games. I'm not sure what our final record was, but I really would put that team up there with anybody. We had amazing receivers, DBs, O-line, quarterbacks, running backs. You know, across the board, we were absolutely stacked. It was stacked. And so I would say sometimes just the competition in practices, whether it's 2-minute drills or whatever, it was sometimes harder than playing in games. Like, because every day you would compete, whether it's going up against Mobes or Donnie or anybody else in the secondary. It really was. The team was like, as a receiver, you were fighting for scraps just to get an extra ball. Like, Terry was stealing balls all over the place, and then you were worried about Terry, worried about Ed, and so if the ball was coming, you knew you had to make a play because you weren't going to get many more if you didn't. So, yeah, it was a great group of guys. One that I fondly look back.
I actually rewatched the game today, and obviously in the background while I was working, that's what we'll tell my boss. But it was funny because you just like would hear all these different names like getting called out after all these plays, and it's just like, wow, you really were stacked when you said you have to fight for that ball. Like, it was just, and that was before my time becoming a fan. So it was just so great to like see your guys' names, even though this game was old. To see it live for me was really actually special. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what it was too. Like, Terry's going up in the hall, and for I know when I came from Saskatchewan, he was a great mentor to, like, you never know somebody when he's coming from Calgary. We had like issues with that. You never know what he's going to be like. But he was great in the locker room when he was awake. Lots of times he would sleep. He'd be at the back of the room, tell everybody he had a sleeping disorder and narcolepsy. And me and Ed would be like, what the front door is this guy doing? This is supposed to be Terry Vaughn, and he's falling asleep in meetings? We're like, and the craziest part was he'd get out to practice, and he'd be like, okay, what do I got on this? And so I always kind of pride myself in understanding what everybody had. So I'd tell Terry, and I'd be like, I cannot believe this guy doesn't know what he does. And then he would get out on the field, and 240 yards later, I'd be like, oh, I guess that's what he does. He was unbelievable. He really was. It was almost like clockwork. Every week would be the same thing. Terry'd be asleep at the back of the room, and then game day he'd come out and bust everybody's butt for like 150 or 200 or something like that. It was crazy.
Terry, talk about that, actually, coming from Calgary up to Edmonton, because the rivalry was there.
Yeah, the rivalry was definitely there. And God's honest truth, I hated Edmonton. I hated the players.
Yeah.
So there was going to be some tension there. Me and the battles I had with Malcolm Frank,
Yeah.
Singor, Cavis Reed, the battles that I had with those guys, uh, those were real. You know, for real, those were real. Me and Singor had a lot longer history because we played together against each other in college. But Malcolm Frank, I didn't like him. Cavis Reed, I didn't like him. And then all of a sudden, they're your teammates. And I'm more like, okay, I got to bury the hatchet, you know. So I kind of took that upon myself to, ingratiate myself with the team, but I always prided myself. I just always wanted to be one of the guys, and that's kind of how I looked at myself. We all had roles, and sometimes my role would be to make a big play or whatnot, but um, like Rick would always make these timely catches when it was needed. When it was time for him to step up, more often than not, he did. And so the team that we had great leaders on both sides of the ball, but it was awesome when everybody has their role and then everybody fills their role. And that's kind of the best thing I can say about that team. We had great players all over the place, but everybody always did their role.
Absolutely. Now, Singor, you talked about it a little bit already with the blackout and how that brought the team together. I'd like to get each of your perspectives on it, because I can imagine that it could be a little bit different depending on how you feel about that particular day. But tell us about how that brought the team together and kind of what your experience in that moment was.
Well, my experience, I think we're going into that game with the loss, if I remember correctly. I was a long time ago, but that morning, getting ready for the game, heading down to the stadium. Oh shit! Did I lose you guys?
We can still hear you. We can still hear you. Yeah.
My bad. Let me find it. There you go.
The best part is the other two just
Sorry,
laughing
fellas.
while you're doing that. Yeah. Okay.
Going down to the stadium, your mind is in a different mode of, okay, we're going to play a game today. We get down there, they're like, there's no power, and it's daytime. So, then they cancel the game. So everyone's like walking back to the hotel. The one thing that really, this might not be anything to do with our bonding, but hot dogs were $3 on the way down.
I remember that.
Like $12 on the way back.
The hot dog guy could break $100 bill.
Hey. But no, so we get back to the hotel, and it's like, the power's out in the hotel, and no one knew the power was coming back on. There was no food. They're like giving, hey, you guys want ice cream in the freezer because it's gonna melt. And now it's like, all right, well, now I got to get to know some people, because we're stuck in the hotel. There's no food. I think the only thing in Toronto that was going on was a wood burning stove at some pizza place. And I think Sean Fleming had that organized or something like that. Sean always got some crazy stuff going on. But, we're in the lobbies playing cards, because that's where the only light was. You can't get up to your room because there's no elevator. But
10.
no, Phase 10. Yeah,
Phase 10 is
Oh,
what we
phase
were
10?
playing.
Seriously? Oh, I was
Phase
just
10.
here. I was gonna say it's poker, right? No, phase 10. Wow, that's
Phase 10,
amazing.
poker, some of
play
everything.
with
It was all of those.
linemen for hours on it, and then I think what really brought it together was when they took us to Sports Check.
Word check.
Oh yeah.
Out at close. They took us every Sports Check and gave us like a stipend to get clothes. I'm like, dude, the whole team is there.
Yeah.
But that's like some brotherhood type stuff. It's like, man, we going in here, we gonna get our clothes, but we gonna play this game. Whenever we play, we gonna play it. And from that point on, everybody like really trusted each other because they went through a downhill together. Well, that's when you bond. When stuff doesn't go right, you know who has your back, and we had each other's back.
Amazing. Terry, what do you remember from that game?
You know what? The one thing I do remember is, I kind of go to the game kind of early, and we're in a cab, and we get turned away or whatnot. But we're downtown Toronto, and everybody's falling out of the buildings, and you got 20, 30,000 people on the streets.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what the hell happened? And, we're hearing whispers of, we don't really know what happened, or what's going on. But it was a little nerve wracking. Trying to find some food, the hot dog guy, the line was literally around the corner, and I was like, well, I'm not getting a hot dog, and so it was a little nerve wracking, I remember going back to the hotel.
Uh-oh. Do we lose Terry?
Cut
There
out,
he is. Okay.
cut out.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience, but like Singor said, as players, the bonding, the camaraderie, you saw a lot of that. I mean, you really hung out with guys that sometimes you didn't hang out with. And, it definitely brought our team together. Hence, that's why, we put a black diamond in our ring for the blackout.
Yeah, which is so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. What about you, Rick? What do you remember about the blackout?
A lot of the same things that TV and Mopes talked about. For me, it was Terry was early all the time to games, but I always kind of waited on the bus, and so I remember hopping on the bus and I actually fell asleep on the bus, and so we're going towards the stadium, and I remember waking up like probably 15 or 20 minutes later, and we haven't moved like a foot. Like, we're out of the hotel and we're getting down, and we just didn't move. And I was like, what? The front door? And so we didn't know what was going on. We had no idea. And so it took a long time to get to the stadium on the bus. And then when we got there, like normally the guys that are early are dressed and either walking around the field or doing something. And this time, like, most of them didn't have anything on. And so we're all trying to figure out what's going to happen in the game. Terry's right. They started filing people out of the building, and then we heard it was getting canceled. And then it was a journey trying to get back to the hotel. Street and all the street vendors' stories are correct, man. They probably made their retirement fund off of that one night alone because they were charging 100 times whatever it was. Prices skyrocketed. But it really was there was a lot of cards being played, whether phase 10 poker. Guys were losing their shirts in the lobby. There were IOUs all over the place because nobody could get to a bank machine because there was no power. So I just remember people had like paper all over. I owe you 100. I owe you 500. It was unbelievable. Like there were IOUs everywhere. And then kind of like what Mobes was talking about, I do remember that sport check night where guys were leaving the sport check with like just bag loads of clothes and shoes. Like we're like, so what exactly is our honorarium to go to sport check? And they didn't really, because it hadn't happened before, so they didn't really have a number at the time. So people were walking out with like 4 or 5 pairs of shoes, and we're like, look, you might want to get some draws. We really don't know how long you're going to be here for.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, we had a couple of D-linemen. We're like, maybe go put the shoes back, go get some underwear. You might want to get some of those. Yeah. So it was, it was quite the experience and a memorable one that you'll never forget.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. I'm like tearing up over here. You guys have some wild stories. I love it. So let's hop back to 2003. What would be your most fondest or favorite moment in the Grey Cup game? Terry, we'll start with you.
Just the celebration afterwards. I remember myself, Shannon Garrett, and Rick Walters carrying the Grey Cup. That was it for me. I remember that. I remember taking pictures with the Grey Cup after the game. We were carrying it across the field. It's weird. I don't remember a whole lot of plays and stuff like that. Never did. I can remember the balls I've dropped, though. I don't remember the touchdown plays. And really, I don't remember the touchdown plays, but I remember the plays that I didn't make or the balls that I dropped. But I do remember specifically, it was a really good moment, when we had the Grey Cup and, we were walking across the field. Do you have a picture of that, Rick?
I do.
Yeah, so do I.
It's on. Absolutely. It's on my wall. And Terry's right, though. Like, you play in so many games, but it's very rare that you remember the games per se. You remember afterwards in the locker room with the guys celebrating. It was – that game really was a culmination of a few years worth of – like lots of years worth of work with how close we were in 2022 or 2002 and then finally winning in 2003. And then obviously doing it in Regina, which is a hotbed for football as well. So, it was the stuff after, the stuff hanging out. It was the experience throughout the year. It really was I don't want to say a sense of relief, but just that we had done that together. Because if we wouldn't have done it, it would have been, it would have been obviously very disappointing. So a lot of relief.
I would say my memory, I think it was
good timing. As always.
There he goes again.
There he goes again.
Mobes is one of those guys who was writing those IOUs.
Washington State connection. That terrible connection.
All right, try again. You were going to say it was my memory is how far we got. Yeah.
I'm out in a harbor. You guys can hear the reggae music in the background, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. keeps dropping this is an interesting way to do this. Yeah. Okay. Well, he's gonna I'm sure he'll come back at some point. There he comes.
Lost you.
There we go. Now we're good.
Back.
Yep.
I'm here.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep, we're good. Yeah.
But no, I'm okay. So
I've never had so much suspense about what he remembers.
Oh my. All right, we're ready now, Singor. Go.
All right. I would say it started on the plane ride to Regina. Once we got off the plane, our whole attitudes were, we're going to win this game. We don't want to see Montreal. We don't want to be in the same area as Montreal. We knew we were going to win that game. You know, we're going to out physical them. We're going to be faster than them. We're going to take the game to them, offensively, defensively, special teams wise. I don't think there was any doubt in our mind that we were going to win that game after the 2002 season. We came with a different mentality. We sort of reversed the roles, because in the past they used to bully us around, and we decided to be the bullies and take the game to them, and we won and brought the cup back to where it belongs, and to get our names on that cup for lifetime. But the ride was the ride. So yeah, it was great to raise that cup, but I know we thought we should have had it the year before, so we had to come back in 2003 and prove ourselves that no, the cup should have been with us at home in 2002, and we should have took it in 2003. You guys just got lucky.
that they did. I was there watching. It was that was a tough one for sure.
You know what, though, Andrew? I will say this. It is amazing how much difference it makes the rest of your life after you know that you won that, and having your name on that, having I won't say the ring is the big thing, but it does give you something to look at and be proud about. The pictures that Terry talked about, it's you don't really think about it, but then it just comes up all the time. Like all the time, somebody wants to either talk about it. You see, like you're mentioning, Commish, when you're watching old games, it just comes up all the time. And so it's amazing how much it does change your life going forward. Like, even when you look at guys, I don't want to drop his name, but like Milt never having won one, he's kind of looked at differently. Like, he was a great player, one of the best of all time, but he just didn't experience that moment of having won a great cup and having your name on it for forever. And it's just different. People treat you different.
Yeah. I still hate you. I hate both of you. Practice was a game.
I was gonna say, on the defensive side, trying to defend these guys, even in practice, it must have been a disaster.
Oh yeah. We had a lot of battles at practice, no doubt. And it's what was one of those things that, depending on what day it was, there was going to be some fights. There were going to be some pushing, and I mean, we all have.
There was.
We're all alpha males, and no one likes to get shown up in games or practice. So and some of us have short tempers at certain times, and
really?
Oh, really? Well, Terry, I can't imagine you'd have a short temper. You just had a great nap. I mean, you should be rested. No, it should be good.
Playing against your own teammates every day, they know what you like to do. They know what you're trying to do. And so at times they get up under your skin.
Right.
They know the play. They know what we're running. And they get up under your skin sometimes. And consequently, same with the offense going against the defense. Sometimes we get up under the defensive players' skin as well.
That's part of getting better.
True.
And what's funny is one of the things that probably doesn't get enough credit for is because you have to find a way to coach those collection of players, especially now that I've gotten to coaching. you really, when you have a whole bunch of really good players like Terry was talking about, they really have to buy into what their roles were. I understood what my role was. We had a great collection of receivers, so there was things that you had to do that maybe you wouldn't have had to do on other teams, but you did that for basically what we talked about, to get that ring, to win games. And so there are things that you had to do. The person that I don't even know who, but putting that team together, there was just so many good players on the team. And convincing the individuals to play that certain role is a piece that's probably not looked at well enough. So even when you look at teams now, all the great teams have convinced really, really good players to figure out what their roles will be and to buy into playing that role to the best of their ability. And that's what we did really, really well on that team.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
It sure seemed that. Sure seemed that way. All right, Kayla.
Am I still echoing really bad?
All the rest of us echo when I unmute you. So when you're talking, I unmute you. But yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Okay.
I think it's fan questions, Andrew.
What's that? Oh, is it mine? Oh, fan questions. All
Yeah,
right,
fan questions.
All right, let's go to fan questions. We had a couple here. First, our good friend in Montreal, Cliffy D, says respectfully disagree about the 2000. I'm sure about 2002 and 2003 of Europe guys' opinions of it anyway. But I still think that that's fine. One question came from Leanne. The question is, what has surprised you most about retiring from the CFL? Terry, let's start with you.
You know what? For me, I was working out and training to return for another season, and I had difficulty completing my workouts and stuff. And I was talking to my wife. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I couldn't complete my workouts, couldn't do my workouts, and it takes a lot out of you to prepare yourself for the upcoming season. And I didn't want to do it anymore. If someone would have said, hey, you know what? Hey, just show up to training camp, or you know what? We'll sign you after training camp, maybe, but maybe I would have tacked on a couple years. But quite honestly, I knew that it was my time to walk away from the game, and no regrets at all. I left the game at the right time, and I didn't want to cheat myself or cheat the game. So.
Well, and left a legacy that's going up on the walls. So that's a good thing. Singor, what about you when you had to? Of course, fades out right as I'm just asking him a question. I tell you, the timing is amazing. You'd think he planned it. Rick, what about you when you retired?
That's a great question from Leanne. It really is. I think what kind of surprised me the most is, I think when I left the game, around when Terry and Mobes left it, I thought we really left the game in a great place. I thought we left it with really good football being played, some really great players on the field. I think attendance was high. Like for us, we couldn't go to a Labor Day rematch or a game against Saskatchewan without 40 or 50,000 people being in Commonwealth. So it just felt like it was being left at a great place. And what has surprised me the most about retirement is how the owners of the game, or not only owners of the individual teams, but just keepers of the league, how I just feel that, I don't know, I don't want to say they have led some of the people who have built the league up to where it is, but I just feel the game should be at a better place. The game should be, it was an amazing game that gave so much to each of our lives. And we gave so much of our bodies and heart and mind and soul to the game. I just feel that it was left at a pretty good place. And I'm not sure why it didn't just continue to escalate to achieve more. And we have so many individuals, so many eyes are on it for the Grey Cup games. I don't know why kids growing up all don't want to experiment or try football or play with it. So I don't know if that's an answer, but my retirement life has been, that part has been missing as to why more people don't love CFL like how we do.
Are you trying to
Well,
deliver?
good. Fair enough. All right, Singor, what surprised you most about retiring?
I would say just being, body being all right.
Yeah, it's fair.
The aches and pains are gone. The swelling is gone.
I know.
Being able to function. That's what I say.
Yeah, that's fair. You were doing the hitting. Terry's like, no, I was the one getting hit. Nope, but not the same.
But I'm also going up them 300-pound offensive linemen too.
That's true. That's true.
So,
Yeah.
It's just being able to wake up, not feeling the aches and pains and all that stuff. That part of retirement. Also, having free time. Free time. I tell you, you don't realize, when you're playing a season, you don't get any free time really, because once the season's over, you go back into working out, getting ready for the next season. Once retired, oh wow, I got a lot of time on my hands. I mean, I could start doing some other stuff. I can, go travel. I can go do this, do that. But yeah, I would just say, your body's not as sore. You get to sleep in. There's nothing you really have to do. But yeah, great.
That's fair. Now, according to our other guests, you did have some free time because you played a lot of golf while you were here. So I think that there was some.
Play a lot of golf. That's those guys.
We played a lot of golf. We played a lot of golf, no doubt.
I played a lot of golf.
Mo drove a lot of golf carts. Drove a lot of golf.
It's good. It's good to have a skill. That's a great skill. Yeah, I enjoy the sun. Right? It's perfect.
Yeah. Hey,
Jerry always made sure everyone was well stocked for a drink.
Well hydrated.
Correct. Yeah. I think that job is overlooked. It's a good job to have. Okay, so let's we'll get to one more question here. Kobe asks, what would be your favorite memory from playing minor football? That's really, you thought 20 years was a long time ago. What was it like when you played minor football? So Rick, let's start with you this time.
Minor, that's another good question. I think favorite memory, I think would just be, I think growing up, coming here from Jamaica and then growing up in Edmonton, I think my favorite memory would just be going to some of the games, to the Knothole Gang, and seeing Commonwealth Stadium and being around like the great players from Warren Moon, Jim Germany, seeing those guys in and around town, and because there was a big connection with Eskimos at the former Eskimos and the community service, and them always being in and around town and giving back to community, coming out. They were always playing basketball games and doing things like that. And again, this sounds repetitive because we mentioned it before. It's not necessarily the games you remember. It's all the experiences around the games. It's seeing guys, Warren Moon having that cookie shop.
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and meeting him and Jim Germany and Brian Kelly and Tommy Scott and all those guys in and around town. Like I said before, because guys, when they came to Edmonton, they stayed in Edmonton. A little bit like, Terry when he opened up his restaurant and stuff like that. So those are impactful for I think a lot of young athletes growing up. You remember those kind of things.
Fantastic. What about you, Singor? Oh, did you mute or something, Singor? We lost your mic. I tell you, that connection, we're out by the reggae music. It just doesn't want to give us a good. We can't. I can't hear you. What's going on? I tell you. Okay, I'll let you figure that out for a second. Terry, what about you playing minor football?
For me, I always have this. I remember playing running back, and I break through the line. I'm running down, a really long touchdown, and my mother, she beats me to the end zone. So I remember that. My mother was she ran track, and she was really fast, and I couldn't beat my mom in running until I was like 10th grade before I could.
Was she bow-legged as well?
No, she wasn't. She wasn't, but she was fast. She was one of the. She actually was the South Carolina sprint champion back then, and but I couldn't beat my mom until I was in the 10th grade.
Wow,
so,
that's
yeah. So, but I that was one of my first early memories of playing football, and I always remember that.
That's awesome. Now, so when you started the game, would she be having a nap on the sideline, then run down after you, and then be like, "No, I'm just kidding. I gotta." No. That's not like practices. All right. I just think that story just made me laugh so hard. I can't. I keep bringing it up. All right. Singor, can we hear you now? There we go. Yes. What was your favorite minor football story?
Of playing football that was drilled in my mind. Also, no one would ever come to my house to stay the night because my dad was the head coach, and we always worked out in the so that was it. So, but no, I mean, playing football brought a lot of opportunity at a young age. Even at this time in my life, it brings a lot of opportunity. Being able to coach, being able to talk about what it takes to get to the professional level. Because some of the younger kids, they don't know what it takes. They think they know what it takes until they actually have to do it. Um, you know, and, a lot of kids nowadays, they want to be there, but they don't want to put the work in to get there. So, what it takes to get there, showing them what it takes to get there. I think that is definitely a big part of being able to play at a pro level.
Awesome. Well, let's try and get you guys out of here on this one. Let's talk a little bit about the current team. Have you been keeping up with where they're at, and what are your general thoughts? Terry, you are kind of smiling, laughing, so maybe I'll start with you on that. What are your thoughts?
Okay. So
They're setting up here. Yeah.
this is secondhand knowledge. So this came from Milt. So
Okay.
when I ran into Milt and in Dallas about 6-7 weeks ago, he just said that Eskimos are terrible. He said TV they haven't won it. I guess at the time they had a losing streak. How long was that losing streak?
Which one? There's two of them that were going on. There was the home game one is up to 23 games now, and and then they had a 13 game in a row if you count from last year to this year that they hadn't been able to pull out a win. So I mean,
Yeah.
they did win last week. So I mean, now it can only go up from here. But we did have a couple of not so great losing streaks for sure.
So yes, that's what Milt was explaining to me, and like you said, Rick, when you left the game was in a good place. You know, Edmonton was in a good place, and what I've always been fortunate to play when I was in Calgary. Doug Flutie, Jeff Garcia, Henry Burris, Dave Dickinson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, came to Edmonton. Jason Moss, Nealon Green, Ricky Ray.
Not bad,
right? So I've been fortunate to play with good quarterbacks, and what Milt explained to me is the quarterback situation for most teams. They're not developing quarterbacks anymore, you know, whereas before the CFL as a whole developed a lot of quarterbacks. Calgary, Edmonton, they've always had that luxury, and it looks like the CFL in a whole doesn't anymore. Yeah, so that's the kind of the secondhand knowledge I got from Milt and how Edmonton was doing, you know. So,
well, I mean, good thing you guys all be there. You'll lift all their spirits. Rick, what do you think?
Complex question.
Mm-hmm.
Very complex question, especially being up here.
Yeah,
I agree with Terry. CFL's quarterback league, and so you need a strong quarterback to be successful. That's been proven time after time. I think with the Elks, it's straightforward. He looks like he's got a little juice, obviously, in his legs. He reminds me a little bit of Nealon. And he doesn't, for the most part, turn over the ball, which you need your quarterback to do. And if you can surround him with good players, then they'll be successful. I think that as a whole, you need to make sure that where you're putting finances in building a team is how, like, so if you have for example, if you have a quarterback that's only throwing the ball maybe 20 or less times, and there's probably other areas of your team that you want to put your finances towards, making sure you have a good O-line, a good running game, good defense. Maybe your finances should not be spent in having and the ratio having high level receivers, I guess, because if you're only throwing it 15 to 20 times, you need other areas of your team to be stronger. So it's like I said, it's a very complex question. You hope that that tasting a victory helps propel them to a little bit more in the second part of the year. But winning is winning is not easy. Winning takes a lot of time. A lot of people think that all you got to do is continue to work hard, but that is only one little piece of winning. And these guys will tell you, you need good players to win. You need a structure and a good culture and a good environment to win as well. So there's a whole lot of elements that go into winning, and hopefully they're starting to make some inroads towards that.
Absolutely. If they were only throwing the ball 20 times in the early 2000s, Terry would be like, yeah, no, I can find a different team. It's all good. Yeah, that's no problem. I'll take my 300-yard games to somebody who throws the ball to me. That'd be great. Singor, have you followed the Elks recently? Do you have any thoughts on the team right now?
Yeah, I mean, I have. My mindset is tradition. Guys that because when I was brought in to Eskimos, it was all about tradition. What you're playing for. We don't miss the playoffs. And the guys, that I learned from, you got your Larry Rucks, your Willie Plesses, Benny Goods, Leroy Blues. They instilled that in you that, we're a top-notch team. We're a brotherhood, and we're playing to win day in and day out. I just don't think those guys know that. Know what organization they play for. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I play professional ball, but you play for one of the best organizations in North America. I mean, when we lost the first playoff game or didn't make the playoffs that year, 2006.
Yep.
I think it was 2006. We didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, that's a crappy feeling to be that team, to have that sit on your shoulders. I don't think these guys understand what was built in that in the green and gold. A lot of history goes behind that team. They haven't won 14, 15 Grey Cups for no reason. And I think tradition is lost amongst the players. I don't know how they get it back. Yeah, they got to win, which is great. But how do they build on that? How do you come back to be the flagship? Because I know when we played for Edmonton, we were the flagship. Everybody wanted to be on that team because of the history, the tradition, you could win there. I think that's lost amongst players and maybe even management. I don't know. But
I hope they can bring that back, and I hope part of that starts too with getting you guys all here and I hope you guys get a chance to interact with them and be able to, share some of that wisdom, some of that knowledge, and some of the greatness that you guys brought. I'll let you guys out on this. I really appreciate you taking some time with us to chat about the team, chat about some stories and what you guys did together. Singor, you kind of already answered this, but what does the EE way mean to you?
To me, bring your hard hat, your lunch pail, and your sledgehammer. Let's go to work.
I feel like at some of those practices, the sledgehammer might have been prohibited just in case. But that is
that's the way. I mean, in at least my position, the guys that heck, you got Willie Pless, Larry Ruck, you had Kepley. I mean, those guys came to work with their hard hats, lunch pails, sledgehammer. We're getting it done.
Yeah.
And Terry and Rick. They had receivers to follow. The receiving corps in Edmonton weren't slouches. They were great receivers. There's guys that you had to follow to be good.
Yeah.
In Edmonton, it wasn't you just come down that you wanted to eclipse, that you want to reach, and those were the greats. When you come to Edmonton, there's someone in front of you that you want to be great like. Period.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. And a bit, and that, like you said, that tradition means a whole lot to learn. Okay, I got to be that good to get to that position, right? So, yeah, I agree. Rick, what about you? Double E way to you.
Mo said it really, really well. And it is about the tradition. It's about the history of the game. It's understanding. I know it's funny before we won in 2003, there was a time period, a gap between winning. And I know for a while we were a little bit tired of hearing about all the winning that happened before we got there.
Yeah.
And so you were, because you're held to that high standard. So there is a culture and a history that goes with being part and wearing the jersey, not only on the field, but off the field as well. The responsibility that you have to the community. And I think the community felt that, and they built off of that. And so they supported the teams that were coming up during that time because they felt that the players were all in terms of what that looked like. And a lot of that was the culture that was created by guys like Mobes and Terry and Ed and the guys before us, from Willie and Giz and all those guys. So it's that passing of the torch, but also passing of the knowledge of what that meant to be not only on the field, but also off the field. So, and maybe that's a part that's kind of missing in the fact that they have some mature players, but they don't necessarily have players that grew up in the Edmonton Double E way. And there is a way. It's not only, I can't emphasize that enough. It's not only on the field, because it's knowing how to carry yourself off the field, knowing the impact that you have on others' lives around you. So it is when they're looking at bringing in people, I think that might have been a big misstep in terms of you want to have younger players on your team for sure. Every football team does, and you need younger players. But at some point, the EE way was having and some established guys who were moving up in their ages, but that could show people what it looked like to the culture around Edmonton felt like, how you had to play, how you had to carry yourself. And that, so that's kind of what the EE way means to me. I think it's an all-encompassing way of living.
Amazing. What about you, Terry?
I agree with Rick. For myself, that was something that I learned. It wasn't just what I did on the field. It's what I also did in the community. But that was also taught to me. When I came into the league, I had Alan Pitts to learn from. And Alan had a great work ethic. We're two totally different receivers. But I took the way he worked in practice, and I took a lot of the things that he did and tried to put it in my game. I brought that to Edmonton. But the established players, the guys that already been there, I learned from those guys. Like I told you guys earlier, I had to ingratiate myself to Malcolm Frank and Cavis Reed and be a part of the team and drop those old beefs that we had on the field and stuff, and and do my part. I was asked to basically, be a leader on the team, and play my role. But the big thing about the Edmonton Eskimo way is definitely, doing it on the field, but also doing it in the community. The community part that's a big part of it. And for me, that's the part I learned, when I came to Edmonton. Yeah, when I signed there, yeah, you want me to be a good player and all that stuff, but there were a lot of things that, is required of you as a player off the field as well.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of those things.
Amazing. Well, thank you to all three of you for joining us for this, for telling us some stories. Terry, much congratulations on going up on the wall, a well-deserved honor. And we are very excited to see all of you guys out on the field at halftime this coming Sunday, when we will all be in our stands, wiping away tears and clapping and remembering that 2003 year, which was a roller coaster, but with an amazing end. So thank you all for joining us so much. We really appreciate it. We will be back with more of the podcast in just one moment.
See ya.
See you guys. See you Thursday, Friday.
Yep. See you guys.
All right, we are back to talk more about the games and things. Kayla, that was amazing.
Yeah,
You can say more. It's okay.
I did. But if we cross over,
It's okay. You just go ahead. So it's all good. We're trying to fix the echo. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not sure why that was going on for just this first night we're having this issue. Of course. All right, let's talk about the win. Elks 24, Ticats 10. Very exciting. Nice to see the boys pull out a win, even though there was a weather delay that basically made it like it was almost 2 games, which probably also helped because they're better in first halves. They played 3 of the 4 quarters. Got all the way through first and second, third quarter a little bit off, and then the fourth quarter turned it back up again. So, Kayla, give me your goods from this game.
I'm still trying to fix this. It's going to irritate me.
I know.
Okay, let's see. Well, I think the first thing that we have to mention is friggin' Manny Arsenault and his 9,000 receiving yards completed
100%.
at this game. That is bar not, like, obviously the win is great, but like what a success story for Manny, and to have him on our squad and just to have that veteran leadership back. And he actually had some catches. It was great. It's great to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, all 4 quarters were played. Like you said, the third was a little lackluster, kind of on both sides. No points scored. Oh man, I actually have a lot of goods. So hang on a second. I should probably put on my glasses too so I can. There we go. All around, I just like the composure of this team. They actually showed up and it looked like they wanted to win. They remained cool. Even on the third, you could see there was a little bit of, I would say a little tension just because nothing was getting done. Same with the fourth, but at least we got a field goal, which leads me into my other great Dean Faithful, solid night. Executed every single kick. Excellent. Even into the wind. Got that last field goal. Boop, 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 boop. Defense went wild. 7 sacks. Amazing. Niles Morgan, he's so fun to watch. He is so fun to watch. Really miss Lou, but that's all right. That's okay. It's okay.
Fair.
And I mean, the penalties were down. Dumb penalties at stupid times, but they were better. Not as crazy. So, yeah. But I don't want to take everything from you because I know we have a few more things to talk about. So,
yeah, there's a couple more. I was very I was blown away by the trick play. The Taylor Cornelius lines up for 2nd and 1. Looks like he's going to lunge forward, drops back. The 45-yard one-handed catch by AC Leonard, which we did not see coming, but that was amazing catch, and a great play, and a nice confidence booster for Taylor, right? So, who has a bit of a rough go. Trey overall has a great game, 3 of 18. So yeah, only passing it 18 times, but 174 yards with 2 TDs through the air, which was amazing. He ran for another 60, and that Sally Brand play was amazing. The naked bootleg out to his left, loved it. Loved every minute of that. Hitting Dunbar in full stride, running across the middle for and not like run and turn and catch and fall down. It's run and catch while you're running and then keep going. So I was really, really happy with that. And Ed Gainey with the sack / forced fumble was also truly amazing. I was pretty happy with that. So lots of good things in this game. So my question for you, Kayla, do we have bads or do we even want to talk bads after we had that?
Let's just say improvements. I think that's better than bads. We have a lot of improvements to still work on, but I know that trick play was amazing, but I think I watched that Kyron Moore sweep like 10 10 times. Oh my gosh, just running lateral. And Trey Ford just flips the ball up. Kevin Brown switches sides and tries to fake it out. And then Kyron Moore, he didn't get a first down, but when I watched that perfect little flip up by Trey Ford, I was like, "Ooh, this is the football that I want to watch." That trick play and then this, like, yes, I love it.
It's amazing.
I think the biggest thing that stuck out for me. So I'll do one improvement is just again on the receivers, really got to catch those freaking perfectly thrown balls.
Mm-hmm.
You need to. Oh my God. I think there was 3 perfectly thrown balls dropped by, I think 3 different receivers. There was
2 for
Gino,
sure.
there was Dylan, and there was one more because I just rewatched the game. Dang it, I didn't write it down. It doesn't really matter who it is.
Oh,
You
Forbes
just have to
Mobley.
catch. That's it.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Mm-hmm.
So you just got to make those catches. And I know like once in a while it's fine, but it just seems like that's the one thing that's starting to really stand out is okay, we had that problem with Taylor Cornelius where it just was the chemistry was off, but now these balls are dropping into the hands like perfectly. So I mean, again, do the little giant thing. I don't care. Put some glue on your hands. Just catch those balls.
Well, I think that Gino, I'll give a little bit of a break to, being that it was, rust. Like your first game back, fine, okay, but yeah, thank you, yeah. But I do think that well, let's see what happens this week when he goes up for what he calls the 90-10 ball, and hopefully comes down with it. Cliffy D was saying extended lunchtime adjustments were made. Well done. And nothing like lunchtime. We like lunchtime. So great win by the team. That was exciting that they got one in there, and now we need to carry that on. And we broke the losing streak overall. Now we got to break the losing streak at home, right?
Yeah.
Well done.
I'm nervous. I'm so nervous for this game.
I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on then to our. We did have some signings. So we did get. Let me just change this here. There we are. Roster update. We did sign national offensive lineman Toby Letman to the practice roster. He is a global player. So not national. Why did I put national? Global player because he's from Britain. Last played in the European League of Football. So I think we've got now 3 Brits on the team, which could make a very fun podcast where we can talk about tea and training and boots. Right? Yeah. You're in that. Yeah.
Tea and
Okay.
crumpets. Let's do it. I might just like drift off into a British accent and insult everybody.
Well, I'd laugh.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Preemptively.
I'm here to help you.
The joke wasn't yet, Andrew. Hold off.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's. We don't have Horde and Tell because we don't have a super fan. Do you have something? Okay, hang on.
I had something, but obviously I couldn't show Rick being I was muted. So I'll just show everybody else. But so if you recall, he was actually one of the first guests that we had when I joined the podcast.
I do recall.
And he is still to this day one of my favorite guests because he made me laugh just like tonight. I had tears in my eyes. So he gave me a card on that day, and I still have said card.
Nice.
And I used to keep it in my wallet. That's why it's all shredded on the side. So yeah, I dug that out of my little treasure chest, and I was gonna show him, but I'll bring it on Sunday, and when I'm taking photos, I'll just be like, "Hey, Rick, look, I still have it." But he was so kind and so nice and so funny when he came on the podcast when I was first on. So it was still one of my fondest memories. So thank you, Rick. You're amazing.
That's awesome. So awesome. I'm gonna try this here. I'm gonna see if I can. Nope. Still getting that stupid echo. I don't know what's going on. Weird. All right, let's talk about a game that is coming this week. Oh my goodness, the technical issues trying to do this at the same time. I'm really struggling this evening, and I'm very sorry about that, everyone that's watching. All right, so our game preview: Elks versus the RedBlacks. Sunday, 5 o'clock. That means that the tailgate should be open somewhere around 2:30, quarter to 3. And this week we are going to have brisket poutine. So come down and join us for some wonderful fries, gravy, and meat. How did you want anything more? Like, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's tailgate food. That's what we want. The Ottawa is coming off a crushing loss against the Alouettes. Literally last minute loss to the Alouettes. And so they are going to be fierce in this game. The one thing I will say is that the Elks will have hopefully some extra support, because they did give up to 3,000 tickets away for people who were evacuated from the Northwest Territories. And so hopefully that means we've got some more voices in the stadium. Kayla, what are you watching for this game?
Well, we all know that Dustin Crum can run like the wind. He's no Trey Ford, but he definitely can move the ball around when he's outside the pocket. So I think, we saw some improvement on the run defense. You can't really say anything against James Butler because he'll plow through anybody. He's an anomaly. But I think that we did have slight improvements. So I'm going to be watching Dustin Crum and our run defense. I think that if you can shake him up a little bit, get some blitzes on them, I think we have a chance. I mean, I know we have a chance, but, the RedBlacks are a wild card. You just never know. And I am actually quite shocked that Montreal pulled that off. I mean, I picked them, but I'm still quite shocked that they actually. It's CFL though, so you just like it never. Yeah, no lead is safe, but yeah, seriously, I'm still shocked, as you can tell. But anyway, that's what I'm watching on this game. What about you?
I am going to be watching the. I'm going to see if we can actually exploit the one weakness that they have on their defense, which is the long ball pass. Ottawa is really good at stopping the run, so Trey is going to need some help in getting some space. They'll have to shake up the run. You don't want to take KB out of the game at all, because he is a talent for sure. But they're going to have to shake up their run. They're not going to be able to just run up the middle and have any success. So there's going to be some shake up there, but we can see that Trey can throw a nice long ball. So why don't we try and get some of those ones down the field? I think that would be nice to see. And if we're going to win this, we're going to need to exploit that one spot where they are a little bit weaker, or have shown to be a little bit weaker, especially since with the loss of Dandridge. So that's the part that I'm going to be watching. Maybe a little trade of Gino. How do you feel about that?
I mean, you just said it. We had the 10% in this last game, so it's all 90, right?
Correct.
We have all Gino, all catches, all the time.
I love it.
I mean, he couldn't do it last time. Like, come on. I bloody made him my captain, apparently. I thought I made Trey Ford my captain. No, I made Gino my captain.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's rough. All right. Well, if anybody has a Elks prop bet for us, throw that into the chat, and we'll get to that in a moment. First, we will do our picks for the other games. First one is Montreal visiting Winnipeg, and who do you have in this? Now, they did announce today, it sounds like it will be Fajardo versus Collaros, so the number ones are back. Who do you got in the game there, Kamish?
I'm sorry, but Cody against that Winnipeg defense, it's going to be running circles for no good reason. Like, someone's coming, run in a circle. At home, I think I'm gonna stick with Winnipeg. Yeah, I mean they're not that perfect team. They definitely have some weak spots, but I mean, I don't know. I Cody's kind of one of those quarterbacks I can't really understand. He's so ebb and flow. Like who knows what kind of Cody we're gonna have. But yeah, no, that Winnipeg defense is probably gonna go ape. So
it's entirely possible. I am going with Winnipeg just the fact on a bounce back game. They had not the greatest game last week, and that tends to mean that they have a great game the next week. Collaros comes back and wants to show everybody why he's quarterback one, and that sometimes happens. Now, first half probably be close, and then the second half we'll see. But Montreal has done some great things on that defense, so I still think it'll be a close game. But I think just Winnipeg pulls it off at home. Mike picked Montreal in this game, so he did give me his picks up front. So we do have at least one going the other way. Mike just became Tim and Cliff's favorite person on this podcast, but that's fine. Next game, Calgary. Toronto. Calgary at Toronto. Mike picked Toronto in this game. It is Toronto at home. They are coming off their final bye of this year. They've had all 3 byes in the time that we've only had one. Schedule makers, it's very interesting. I don't get it. So I am also going with Toronto in this game. I think that Chad Kelly is coming out, and Calgary just is struggling. They have moments of brilliance and then a lot of downtime. So it's sad we're doing the same thing, but let's have them lose and us win, and then it makes Labor Day so much more fun. That's what I like. All right, go Kayla.
Yeah, no, same. I was just thinking the exact same. You really got to just like dampen their spirits just a little bit more and more. So when we go to Calgary, we stand a chance. That's just what I'm banking on.
I don't mind that at all. That makes sense. All right, Hamilton versus BC. Or Hamilton at BC, actually. They're traveling all the way out to the far coast. Who do you got in this one, Commissioner?
You don't need to turn it on. Yeah, I just like... I still can't believe that game. I'm still choked. So, doesn't matter, though.
Right. I agree.
Vernon Adams. Again, almost 500 yards.
Yeah.
453 touch. Sorry, no.
And loses.
BC.
All right, good pick. I like that. This is going to be a clean sweep. I'm picking BC, as is Mike. So we think Hamilton traveling out basically 2 time zones, but turns into like almost 3 hours, I believe, coming across. That's a lot to overcome. They don't have a lot of success in BC or in Calgary. So BC bounces back. When you throw for 400 yards in this game, it'll be a higher score. So I'll let BC have this one for sure. Now prop bet. We've got a couple of going in here. Kayla, I will list them off to you, and you tell me which one we're going to do this week. So we have time of possession. The Elks' time of possession, or number of passes over 30 yards. Those are both good. Let me just see. Is there another one here? Nope. Those are the 2 we got right now. Which one do you like, or do you have a different one?
Yeah, those are both. No, please, I never have another one. Those are both really good. I like the time of possession.
All right. Time of possession. Okay. That's going to be a good one for me. I am going to let's see now. Let's put the over under at time of possession. Now, this is against an Ottawa team that does have a good defense, an offense that does find balance between run and pass, not a ton of 2 and outs usually. Ooh, my. Why don't we go with the time of possession for the Elks at 33 and a half minutes? Will you take the over or under on that?
I'll take the under. Just slightly. Okay. Because we're going to come out with some bangers and just get them. And then they're going to have long drives and not succeed.
You're not wrong. I'm going to go over, though, just to be different, because then we have one up, one down. Last week, I believe Mike was good and we were both off, if I remember correctly. Or did you pick the same as Mike last week? I don't remember. I really should start writing these down.
What was it?
Good question.
Cool.
Oh, no, it was Gino. It was Gino Lewis. It was Gino Lewis passing yards, and it was the under. And I said over, and Mike said under. And what did you say?
Under.
You said under too? Okay.
Under. Yeah.
Right.
I think.
You guys win. I lost. Sounds a lot like fantasy. Let's talk about fantasy. Right?
No.
Interesting week, as the three of us finished in the overall point scoring 6th, 7th, and 8th, and yet all three of us lost our weeks. The three people that we were playing finished in the top 5. So you love fantasy, right?
I freaking hate fantasy, man. It just is a destroyer of my emotions. Because Oz, like, I get it. He had 2 players left in the BC game, and I was like, okay, he's taking Vernon Adams as his captain. I already know that because that's smart. And then he took, who was it? Oh, Lucky Whitehead. And that bastard got a touchdown.
A huge touchdown.
So if I would have made Trey Ford my captain and he picked some like random flex player, I would have won. Because he just like shot up on that game because I was like, ooh, I'm winning. And then all of a sudden he had like 113 points. And I'm like, how the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only takes one. Boo.
I'm fine.
Fine. Everything's fine. Fine. Correct.
That's my fire.
Anybody who's listening to the audio podcast, please go back and watch Kayla act out her fire, because that was pretty funny. Okay. All right, this week, Superfan gets Daltz from Rouge Radio. Commish, you get Adam from Canadian Football Countdown. And I get Oz from Rouge, White, and Blue that you had last week, so maybe I can exact a bit of revenge. But speaking about Rouge, White, and Blue, thank you to Joe for having Superfan and I on this week to talk some Elks and how everything was, finally a win. That was kind of nice to chat about that. So thanks for having us on for that. All right, Commissioner, let's wrap this part up. I do want to say thank you to Terry Vaughn, Rick Walters, and Singor Mobley for joining us to talk a little bit about that 2003 team and what they think about the team now. Lots of great memories and good laughs. Commissioner, where does everybody find you online?
On Twitter at Duchess Lombardi.
Perfect. And you can find Superfan at 56 Parkies and the Edmonton History at EDMHISTORE. Thanks. I did it right. Excellent. You can find me at Freepalicious. You can find the show at the Turf District. That is on all of your social media platforms. But of course, if you're watching on YouTube, tell all your friends to subscribe on YouTube and be part of the fun. And hopefully we'll have a little less technical issues when we record next time. Okay, I swear they were amazing. Just anyway, we will fix it for next time. But thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you follow our friends at Pay It Forward with Football. They are having a fundraising event on October the 27th at MKT Beer Market. It's going to be hosted by Morley Scott and Dave Campbell, and of course they are going to have some alumni and players. It will be amazing as always. So go and support a great cause in spreading kindness, as we should everywhere. Of course, also after the games, check out my articles on 3 Down Nation. Share if you can, so that we can again open up some more conversation. I'd really appreciate it. If you are on YouTube, stick around. We will have a little bit of overtime this evening. Otherwise, we will be back next week to talk about breaking the home win streak. We're going to get there, right? We're going to get one. Right. Come on, kid. We're gonna get there.
Oh, I didn't know you unmuted me. I'm just like doing all these like positions of like prayer. Yes. Yes. You'll get there.
It's going to happen. I feel it. I feel it. So coming down, join us for tailgate. Join us for the game. So for Terry Vaughn, Singor Mobley, Rick Walters, Commissioner Kayla, and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next week.
go anywhere. It's overtime.
All right, we are back and we have fixed the echo. Yay!
There's a sourpuss now.
I know. I'm sorry. I get it. It was frustrating. I was trying to figure out how we could make it work better so that we could have a better conversation, but that's just kind of how it went this time. So
oh boy, when I said I was just a shy girl holding the camera, I wasn't wrong. I just didn't speak through the interview at all.
Well, you got a couple of things in. I was trying to time it properly so that you could get, but yeah, throws us all off, hey? Mike gets sick. We're like, what's going on? Like,
it always happens when we have like, not that any other guest is so unimportant. It's like the alumni every single time.
I know we have some type of weird technical issue that, well, and Singor kept dropping off
at the best time though. Like that was freaking funny.
Well, my thought is, wow, that was neat.
Listen, you're not Terry Vaughn. Don't nap. Not now.
Can you the editing I am going to have to do on this?
Maybe just say it'll be out on Thursday.
Yeah, well, we'll see. See how I can put it together. I'm hoping we can get that all kind of into one that'll be like an hour and a half. But I didn't want to keep them to talk about the rest of the team and stuff because I wanted to make sure that you and I could talk about it. So I thought, well, instead of trying to balance it and make it so that I had to keep muting you, I wanted to kind of just so anyway.
I mean, their stories were great. I could have stayed muted, but I just didn't want them to think that I was just like so.
They were awesome.
I don't want to talk.
No, because I mean, Rick knew you from when he was here, so he even said that a couple of times, right? So that's cool. All right, let's scroll back, and we did miss a couple of questions in there. I'm so sorry, guys. It was just they were telling such great stories, but I didn't want to hang on to them for too long. Where they were very generous with their time as it was. So let's go back and if you have any other questions, throw them in the chat and we will chat about those right now. I see a lot of hellos. I like when we start the feed, how many people say hello to each other because they've been, in all the time, and not every time that we get Rory in. So it's nice to see Rory around and Scout, and of course Supermom Sue, Leanne, Cliffy, everybody kind of saying hello to everybody. So that's pretty cool. Now I had a question here from Big Fan. So they're having a season seat holder event again prior to the game this coming Sunday, and the P4 sections, it was only for P2 and P3 that got invited. So he's asking about excluding P4 sections, and I'm wondering if that's I mean, I don't like it when anybody gets excluded, but I wonder if it's part of just the pricing scheme because they've done it different levels, right? Maybe that's why something like that is happening.
Probably. Yeah.
The big thing for me, and if somebody from the team is watching, I understand that you're going to have all the players there right before the game, but that's right when a bunch of the season seat holders are tailgating, and it's kind of the toughest time. You can't get in. I'm not going to shut down the tailgate to go in for one of those events, but I would love to go to one. I would love to hear a hot stove with, Ricky Ray and Terry Vaughn and all these guys. Like, come on, of course I want to hear that. But part of the tradition of the game now is being out for the tailgate and visiting all of our football family and kind of getting ready for the game, getting hyped up, all those types of things. So it's just, I get it. It's hard, but I don't know. And I don't know where the right spot to put it is. I wish I had a better solution. But that one's just tough for anybody who wants to go to that, because a lot of our season ticket holders are out, having a dog or poutine. Putin. Sorry, Cliffy. Please don't disown me. Putin. Yeah. I'm fixing it. So we started the show with no audio from me because I thought I turned my mic on, but then I didn't. So that's great.
It's been a joy.
It's been a
joy.
really tough couple of weeks, personally. So I apologize. I should have been a little more on the game, but I was not. So that
Well, I'm sorry for being spicy and
no.
grumpy.
Well, you know what? I would be spicy too if my echo was coming on. It's not my fault. I want to talk to these guys. I get it. Yeah. Now funny, because when they were talking about Terry Vaughn coming to Edmonton, Kyle said the fans had issues with him coming from Calgary too, because
It's fair.
he kept
fair.
burning us, but then he was on our team and it was amazing. So
And the past is washed away all of a sudden.
yes, and Cliffy says, to be fair, a lot of people didn't like Kavis Reed. I wonder if he's applying that to the playing time or the GM time. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I love Kavis.
He's a really nice, he's a really nice person.
He is, yeah. I quite like him. Now, one of the things here, I'm just going to look in. Rory, I'm sorry I didn't get to ask about your 2003 West Final, but I know we asked about the Grey Cup, and they kind of included kind of all the playoffs. So I skipped that one there. And Big Fan, we did ask about the current Elks. So there you go. Kobe saying, when I grow up, I want a beard like Terry Vaughn.
Right?
Okay, so when so Singor got on first. Then Rick came on, and then Terry Vaughn came on, and Rick said, "Oh, I didn't know we were gonna have Black Santa on the show."
Oh my gosh! Seriously, that pre-show was just like everything you could have dreamed of.
It was so funny. It was very, very good. So I did enjoy that very much. Okay, so and Victor, you had said thank you to these guys who installed a love for the game of football. The love is still there, and I agree. There are people like for me, it's Warren Moon and Brian Kelly and Marco Sincar and Kepley and all those are the guys for me. But there are people who these guys were the guys for them, right?
Yeah.
Terry Vaughn, Rick Walters, Singor Mobley, AJ Gass, Ricky Ray. Like they said, that team was stacked. And so there is a lot of guys on that team that were those heroes where the 80s ones were for me, right? Giz and all those things. So and those guys, I mean, they were heroes for me at the time as well. But it's very cool to see how they still have a passion for the game. Rick's still coaching. They have passion for the game. They have a passion for Edmonton football. And I think that just came through in the conversation. Right?
Yeah, and like it's just so weird. Like I was saying, I was watching the game or listening to the game, and you just hear all these names, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like now I know those names from different because like Baron Miles played on Montreal for that game, but was like our defensive you're just like piecing all the things together, and like because I came in a little bit later, these names really didn't mean I shouldn't say all that much to me. It just didn't register like it does for you guys. But now being in with I guess the team and seeing the coaching and seeing them play, it was wild. And then like Jason Tucker, I was like, oh my gosh, like oh look, these guys are just babies. Like it's absolutely phenomenal. And it's just so cool. And I was kind of having like a little giddy moment. I'm like, they're on TV, but these names, I'm just like, oh, I know him.
That's fantastic. Well, just wait till you're down on the field and they'll be like, hey, I know you. Yeah.
Like, can you sign this, Rick?
Oh my, I'm gonna sit in the stands and enjoy that. That's gonna be amazing.
Oh goodness.
Leanne was asking Victor how the first practice was because the Bantam Lions are back playing again. So excited to have them back at it. One thing we actually didn't end up talking about, I meant to mention it in the show. The Elks bring back Rick Lawlisher as the interim president and CEO. Excellent move, in my opinion. I think that he knows the team. He's well connected in the city. He can help in who is the person that lead the next generation, who is going to be that next person. And he can also, go to bat because he knows all the players.
Mhm.
I know one of the things that Dave Naylor was talking about was him going to bat with the CFL about the operation salary cap and how it does punish bad teams and not give them a chance to kind of build their way out. I still like the idea of having, and not everybody feels this way, but I don't mind having a cap in season. But if you have to make a change, I don't think that the excess should apply to your cap, right? That's the thing.
Or the excess of changes in our
Correct.
team.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's did you meet it in this year, right? Then great. Okay. So
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but my chair this chair is slowly dying.
My gosh, this
And
whole
it's
studio is just.
I know. We've been doing this for 9 years.
You've been doing this for
I
9 years.
I haven't had this chair for 9 years, but it does feel like it every time I say it's like the next thing you know, I'm gonna be like sitting on the ground like, hey.
You're gonna be like Mobley once you retire the podcast. Be like, I don't ache anymore.
I don't need emotionally.
Emotionally.
Don't emotionally ache anymore. I can
Oh
I can
goodness.
sit up straight in my chair. I don't feel like I'm two. It's amazing. Anyway, big news with Rick Lawlisher coming back. I am excited for him to be a part of it. I have got to meet him on a couple of occasions, and very, very nice gentleman, and just knows the league, knows the tradition that the guys were talking about.
Yeah.
Hopefully can help to instill a bit of that again.
Well, and they're not even the first ones to say that. I mean, even from the Bone days, right? It was that same thing. It's like, where's the tradition? Where are this brother? Like, there's something still missing. But I mean, I don't think we're too far gone to get that back. So
No,
it takes
I
a
think
win.
we can. I think we can. I think the thing is I really like this idea of the 2003. How many
Mhm.
guys are coming back,
Yeah.
right? And I'm hoping that there can be some time there where lessons
100%.
passed on, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the thing. One of the things that we've said for I'm gonna say probably in that 5 to 6 year range is that we didn't have like even when you look at 2015, right? You had JC Sherritt and Odell and Riley and Adarius and they were the leaders and they had been taught by Stamps and um uh, I guess learned from watching, I guess, with Ricky Ray as Riley got here. Like there was
Mhm.
the tradition was
The connection.
there, the connection was there. And then we started trading away a lot of those leaders on the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
And then we changed the name and the administration at the time decided that the history didn't matter.
Yeah.
And it was just like that. That was a huge loss. And they did lose one of the biggest connecting pieces in Dwayne, who would help to carry that on. So I think now we just need to find a way to reconnect.
Well, exactly. You have to build that bridge because just like you said, it felt like when the name changed, it was like cut right through it, start new.
Which
Pass it, it doesn't matter anymore. No, 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 no,
no,
no.
it
That's
does
not
matter.
gonna
It
yeah.
does matter. And I'm not suggesting that they change the name back. I just want to be very
No.
clear about that. I'm not saying anything like that, but I do think that the history is still there. There's you can still be connected to that history, and you can still
100%.
learn from those guys that
Yeah.
were here. This is what it means.
You
to
have
be-
a foundation to build on. You don't blow up the entire thing and just say, whoopsie, we're
yeah,
going to start from scratch and start on sand and not this amazing empire that was built. Like, it's not how it works.
yeah.
It's not how history works either. Like, there's always those steps and that process and that long legacy. So, whatever it is, now I know hopefully this organization can find that passion and build the bridge back to the past and just say, you know what, let's go forward together and blah blah blah. Be all like whatever, just yeah.
Are you
We'll get there.
kumbayaing on the field again? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I'm just all sorts of soft in my old time.
I don't know. Did you
Used
watch
to,
the show last week? I think you.
I was
There's a lot of people that
spicy.
were very appreciative of that.
Well, you know what? Sometimes when you just bottle up the Klingon, it just,
Sneaks out.
I back in the day, I used to be like that, and I kind of toned it down. I grew up, but there comes a point where you just have to blow the lid off because it's just like
Fair.
the volcano.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there
Yeah,
many times.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
You've seen me after a
know.
game. I'm usually not as jovial as not recently anyway. If we win,
Well,
it might be different. Yeah.
well, and that's just we already know what's coming. So when we meet after the games, it's just like, yeah, ugh.
All we have to do is look at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Let's move on.
Cliffy D. Pine says Sunday. Exactly. It's going to be exciting. Leanne says, I mean, who doesn't love a good naked bootleg?
Right.
There
Yeah.
you go. Victor says Rick, and he means Rick Walters, was my son's offensive coordinator when he played U of A and Huskies ball. He's a great coach on and off the field, and I 100% agree. I had a great chat with him at the Combine this year, and obviously, more fun this evening, and hopefully we'll get more on Sunday. So he's just an amazing guy to hang around with.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rory says, can't wait for Sunday. Our run defense needs to smash, like Kamish said. That game in Ottawa with the Als and RedBlacks was insane, and I agree, it was nuts. And what a finish. And Cliffy was at the game live and said it was surreal, and I bet it was surreal watching it on TV. Like, holy man, he's actually going to get in there. That's nuts. Ken says, Crum may not be as fast as Ford, but he can be just as dangerous. If the D-line does not stay in their lanes, he is going to make them pay. And I think it's partly that. I think it's partly that you're going to see Niles or Jones or somebody like that is going to be spying Crum. And
Exactly.
that it hasn't worked for every team, but you're going to have to do something to slow down that run game for sure. Rory said Bombers by 10. Ooh, wow. Argos, remember the bad outing in Calgary a few weeks back, and they crapped on the Stamps by 15 plus. So they're saying, he says Bombers by 10 over Montreal. Interesting. We will see. Let's carry on here and see what else we've got. It skipped over a bunch here. Okay, we got our prop bet. That's good. Ken picked the under. Rory says, yes, Andrew, we are getting this bloody W. I agree. Then said we missed the echo. That's funny. And then Cliffy says, figures the audio is crystal clear and you mispronounce Putin. I know. I've mixed it up. All right. Cliffy says Cavis is good people, but he did rub a lot of people the wrong way, both on and off the field. And I agree. But if you are chatting with him as a fan, he's unbelievable. Again, still one of the highlights of my football fandom, being asked down for that practice by Cavis. So that was.
I had a whole conversation with him in a Safeway parking lot.
Yeah, right. And he's just
so nice.
He's just such, and he does some of the little things really well, like remembering your name, right?
Mm-hmm.
and just being genuine in that moment, and that's the part that I really like. So all right, let's see. Let's go a little further here. Rory says the questions, stories, and interactions were amazing tonight. Yes, Andrew covered the playoffs and the season. The insights from those guys was a real treat. Okay, so there you go. That was from when me missing that thing, missing that question. Rick Lawlisher was a great choice. Agree. Ken says Rick knows what needs to be done, and I am glad he will have input for the new president. Me too. 100%. Let the 2003 alumni loose in that locker room, says Leanne. I want video.
Yes.
Even if it was just take a couple of them to maybe not do specifically the pregame speech, but just that this is what it's about. This is where we come from. This is what it means to be part of this team. So,
well,
yeah.
Did you watch the celebration video in the locker room when Coach Jones was like giving his after the game speech?
Did I? Sorry, which one?
It was a video that was released, I think, yesterday. It was just like Coach Jones' speech after the win in the locker room, and how the guys were celebrating.
Oh, I hadn't seen that one yet. Okay.
Okay, so forgive me, I cannot remember who said it, but it was basically like their win chant of like hip hip or whatever, hip hip hooray, and then they do the slam by point count.
Yes.
And so one of the guys was like, for the new guys, I don't know what we do, just follow the old guys, and then they do the
yeah,
right? And you could see like the new guys are like, oh, okay. I love that. I love that though, because it was the first time that they actually got to pick up on a little tradition.
Right.
That hadn't been seen in 13 games.
Correct. Yeah.
So these new kids got a little feeling, a little taste of a little tradition. So find that video. I don't know if it's on Twitter, it's on Instagram, but yeah, it was I loved it. It was
I'm
great.
assuming right from the Elks Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
I will have to go out there and have a check on that.
Yeah. So it's just like that little piece
I missed it. Yeah.
Bridge building.
Love it. Love it very much. That's amazing. All right. Let's see what else is in here. Oh, Leanne says, not to beat a dead horse, but does Rick coming back on board give a glimmer of hope that Dwayne could come back? I don't know. I don't know. I know that there was other things going on much beyond that, so I don't even want to speculate. But yeah, I'm hoping that at some point they can work something out to at least acknowledge all the amazing things that he did. I think that that's important. So I would like to see that.
It may take time too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heal wounds, right? Takes time.
Yep, 100%. Leanne says, I'm convinced Kayla Spice was the reason the Elks got the W. So there you go.
Oh no!
Spice for us this week? No.
Fuck's sakes.
There you go.
Dang it!
No way. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh shoot! Is that it? Don't blame me, guys. I'm always spicy at the games.
I've sat beside her. It's true. Yeah.
I couldn't hold it in after that one loss, so when we got to the media scrum.
Oh my.
That was kind of unprofessional. After thinking about it, I was like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, well, we've had a few interesting conversations in that room. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. The big fan saying, just putting this out there, if we win the next 3 games, we are in a playoff spot. It's unbelievable that it's even a possibility, but we'll see. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. Let's get 1 win at home.
Yes.
Then we can talk about other games, but let's have that happen because we all know that Labor Day is a crapshoot at best. It doesn't matter how these teams come in. It's always who the hell knows. So I don't know. Let's just focus going 1-0 this week. That's it.
Baby steps.
Correct. Yeah. Ken says you're assuming the Riders will lose. Well, we always assume the Riders will lose. We want them to. They've been gift wrapped like how many games this year? It's ridiculous, stupid. Although that catch by Emelis was unbelievable.
Oh, the couple of catches, dang! He just
yeah, unbelievable. That was that made it worth watching.
And that is exactly what my eyes did as my GIF. Like I literally was like,
did I just
what?
See that? Yeah.
Wow, so spectacular.
So good. Absolutely. Cliffy said they aren't selling $2 hot dogs again, are they? No, not at this game, I don't think.
No. Yeah. And since I got my cheap hot dogs, we are retiring forever.
Okay.
The #WienerSpiel. It is dead and gone. Our hot dog. I achieved the goal of getting hot dogs for cheap, and it's over.
Okay, fair enough.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was time. It was time to move on.
Time.
Yeah, it served its purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, excellent fun and games tonight, Kayla. I'm glad we figured out the echo for overtime so that we could actually chat. That was good. And we hope to see you all on Sunday out at the game. Tailgate, like I said, opens about 2:30. We will be having brisket poutine.
Well done.
Welcome, Cliffy. And we will be set in for the game. And as I said, we'll talk about this at the tailgate too. Probably no West of Us this week because we were all going to be wanting to watch that 2003 team be honored and watch Mr. Vaughn's name go up on the wall. So,
I mean, if you guys want to do it, go for it. We just won't be there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Anybody can go to West of Us. We just won't be there this particular.
Oh, yes, a little sparse there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll run up for like 2 minutes before halftime starts. Hey, how's it going? I'm going back to watch this. Yeah, see you later. Yeah,
that's fair.
Okay, perfect. All right, Kayla, where does everybody find you again to catch up with you online?
On Twitter at Duchess Lombardi, and keep those GIFs coming.
Perfect. And follow Mike at 56 Parkies and the history at EDM HISTOREE. Follow me at Free Policious and the show at the Turf District on all of the social channels. Make sure you're back next week. We are working on another guest as we will set up the Labor Day game. That is always going to be excited. Ryan may not be able to be here next week, but he will likely be in between the Labor Day game and the rematch, which could be also very fun. So
I think I'm traveling.
Right. You must be because you're never on when he's on.
Whoopsie.
Whoops. Yeah, totally on purpose, not. Kind of, sort of. Yeah. Okay. Oh my. Thank you so much for joining us for Commissioner Kayla and Superfan Mike. I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely see you on Sunday.
Go Elks.